Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Very Average Podcast. Shaman, how you doing this fine Friday?
I'm doing great, but I'm a bit tired. I think it's probably because of the rain, but I love it at the same time. So I'm doing great.
It has been raining a lot this last few days, and it's been awesome. We don't really get it too much down in Brisbane. We grew up in Cairns where it would rain 6 months of the year.
Yeah, like all the time.
Maybe more.
Every summer, it was just raining, and it was great.
It was great.
Because it gets so hot there, it just like cools it right down.
Yeah.
And I swear Brisbane used to be like that, but like I think the last 2 summers maybe, there's just been not much of a wet season. Yeah. And this one came super late.
Kind of sucks. I really like the rain because it's like, you know, you're like sitting at home, you got your doors and your windows open.
Movie weather.
It's real relaxing, and especially in like this summer's been hot and humid, but no rain.
This last week has been really cool. Like it actually cooled down. I've been wearing like a jacket.
Yeah, I walked out of my office and it was cold. I was like, oh.
How good.
It's colder on the outside than it is on the inside, which is weird.
Ooh,
hello. But
love that.
No, it's been really good, and we've had a really hot streak the last like month or two. Yeah. So having a bit of rain to cool things down has been really, really good.
Yeah. I'm loving it.
But now it's just kind of like super humid and hot again.
Yeah, because it stopped raining this afternoon. So
it's like prime hail weather at the moment when it's super hot and humid. It seems that's really weird thing though, isn't it? Because like when it's hot,
you'd expect it to be cold
and like, humid, it hails.
The opposite of what you think.
Ice falls from the sky when it's
super hot. But is that because it's like hot down here? So like something to do with science, like pushes the cold air up.
I think it's something to do with science.
Yeah. Maybe.
I reckon science happens. And
science decides for it to happen.
Science decides for it to happen. And then it's hot, and then it's really sweaty, and then ice falls from the sky.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
That's how the world will end as well.
We had a couple of hailstorms the last few weeks. It hasn't been too bad.
Not where I live, so that's good.
Yeah, there was a
few around.
There was a scary one.
Clouds.
Was it last week?
Maybe.
Or the week before, there was a scary one. We were like a little bit worried.
Yeah, I was driving home from work and it's like, big hailstorm coming. But I think it didn't end up hitting where it was meant to hit.
No, it just missed us. I remember I was watching the bomb weather radar.
Yeah, and it was just black.
And it was just black coming straight towards Brisbane
City.
For like a good hour and a bit.
And then it went...
I was looking at the Higgins Storm chasing.
Chasing? I think that's... Yeah.
Those guys go crazy over a good hailstorm.
Yeah.
And then this big cloud just split into two, and Brisbane was right in the middle. Yeah. And the sea parted around Brisbane.
I was driving home from work on the Gold Coast, and there was just like a sea of clouds just rolling over, and I was trying to race past them.
Yeah.
And then it was all good, and it wasn't even raining, and then we had band practice, and it was all good.
It was all good. It's a little like scary and ominous. Those clouds when it's.
Oh, they were. I've had that drive a few times. Where one time I was literally trying to beat it, and I didn't, and like everything went dark. It was like an eclipse. It was so bad, and then all of like there was just so much wind that all the trees and all the branches were blowing off onto the road, and I was just like I was just driving really slow, and I could feel like the air just like tugging on the car.
Yeah, no thanks. I think I remember when that was happening to you and you were messaging us being like,
I was stuck in traffic as well.
When you were stopped on the road, not driving. But
yes.
How wild is it when when it's like really freak like hail or like freak storm, like hella windy storm, and respectable people who have brains that are driving slow down, and because obviously it's really difficult to see because there's just an ocean in front of you, and
they
windy.
Also put on their headlights and taillights.
And they put on their headlights. Sometimes the really considerate people even click on their fog lights, and they're like back fog lights. And then there's that one absolute fuckwit driving with no headlights on in a big fucked out old Navara, and he's just hammering full speed. And it's like, you're going to kill yourself.
Yeah, it's dangerous. Very dangerous. Those are those conditions where you can't even see a few meters in front of you, and you just...
It happened the other day. There was a huge storm in Brisbane the other day, and I was driving home from work, or I was driving home from my brother's place or something, and it was literally the day of or the day after I bought my brand new car.
Ooh.
And I was so scared. I was driving, like, in a car that I'm not used to driving. Obviously, that's like that's a thing, which is kind of a thing in itself. But car that I'm not used to driving on a road that I'm not really used to driving on because I don't really go out that way too often. And this storm was just so hectic. There was like 3 or 4 inches of water on the road and like puddles, and I was driving at like 10 k's an hour on the main road.
Yeah.
Just shitting myself.
And that's fair enough. But then there's the times where it's raining a little bit and everyone just slows down so much. And it's like there's a middle ground. Like that's dangerous. There's a middle ground. Don't speed because the road's wet.
It's dangerous.
But don't go super slow because that's also dangerous.
Also dangerous, yeah.
But when it's hammering down, you just gotta go slow.
It's like sometimes there's like some grannies driving on the highway and they're doing like 70 in like the middle lane.
Yeah.
And everyone's just zooming around them, and there's like,
dangerous.
That's when there's a crash, and the granny's just like, no, having a great time.
I actually witnessed the crash the other day.
True. On the Gold Coast Highway?
Just remembered. No, it was on a roundabout on the Gold Coast heading towards the highway near Carrera. And it's one of those, I'm in Cairns, there's a bunch of giant roundabouts, so I'm pretty used to them, but I don't think they're as common down here.
No.
And this one, it's like a 3-lane roundabout, and so you can turn right from the middle in the right-hand lane.
That's fucked.
So, which is like the guy. Okay, so I was going around, and there was a guy next to me in the right-hand lane, and he did nothing wrong. He was going around, and then I think a bike, or he was like on a scooter, some shitty bike. Someone you could tell that actually wasn't like an experienced motorbike rider. So like he wasn't watching his
like an Uber Eats delivery driver.
Yeah, I think it might have actually been. And
they are suicidal, those guys. Reckless.
Yeah, especially when they're driving along the Story Bridge.
Oh man. Weaving between traffic, they've got a death wish.
Yeah, no, that's not fun. But then, so what happened was the guy was trying to exit, and obviously he was on the right-hand lane and he was exiting, so it was like crossing over that lane, but people that were next to him in the left-hand lane shouldn't have been going around because they were me. They're going out.
Yeah.
But then this bike rider was either going slow or entered at a weird time, and he was in my lane, and he tried to cross over when the guy in the ute was turning out, and he just went straight into the side of it, and then he fell onto the road. He was okay, I think. Yeah. It was like right in front of me, and then I went around it, and then by the time it was late in the afternoon, I needed to get home. I slowed down, and there was nowhere really for me to pull over because I was already past it.
Is that giant roundabout?
Yeah.
Almost exiting towards the highway?
Yeah, you know.
Yeah, I know the one.
Yeah.
There's no way you could have pulled over.
And then I saw there was 2 cars behind me that pulled over, and I was like,
"You're like,
what am I gonna do?"
Yeah.
I just felt bad because I knew that the driver in the ute did nothing wrong.
But he'll probably get blamed for it.
But I think other people would have seen that, and they can easily tell that what lane he was in and where he came from and everything. Yeah, it was crazy. And I looked in my rear vision mirror and I was like, oh, there's other people stopping. I've got an hour drive home. There's probably going to be traffic.
Gotta look out
for
number one.
Fuel. And I was like, I'll go.
Yeah.
There's nowhere safe for me to pull over anyway. But it was kind of crazy. I was like in my car like, oh, shit. Because I saw them coming and I was like, guys, stop. No one heard me.
No one heard you.
No.
You were tucked away in your own little bubble.
Listening to a podcast.
Hell yeah. Maybe the guys in the podcast were listening and they were like, oh shit, that was a crash.
Maybe
it could happen. You never know.
Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's always kind of funny when those situations happen and, you're the first person or the next person next to the accident. So, if you were to think about it logically, you're the person to pull over and help. But obviously in that situation, you're on a 3-lane roundabout and it's dangerous for you to pull over. And by the time that you get off the roundabout, there's nowhere for you to pull over.
Yeah.
And 2 other people you saw pulled over. But also, if you were to pull over and go join in, you'd probably just be that extra person that no one wants there.
What's the point?
And it turns into that weird paradox, when there's a car crash and someone's like, call an ambulance. And everyone's like, oh, someone else will call an ambulance. I don't need to.
Yeah, no one.
And that's why being super direct and delegating, responsibly.
If there's one person there helping, then
you call an ambulance.
Yeah. So that was interesting. I haven't actually I've witnessed a few rear ends and stuff like that, but
and the Gold Coast Highway, there's always just
never
post crashes.
Yeah, always post crashes. Never ever seen like a guy get knocked off his bike.
Mm.
But it was kind
That's
of
terrifying.
It's kind of his own fault.
Yeah. A little bit scary.
A little bit scary. I was a little bit scared, but it was a roundabout. They weren't going super fast.
Yeah.
And they didn't go like forward into each other at full speed. They hit each other on the side and he went, oh,
Yeah.
fell off.
Well,
We still would have been hurt.
it probably is actually a good thing because the guy on the motorbike wasn't hurt too bad. And they say when you're going through your motorbike licensing that when you get a motorbike license, or when I got my motorbike license, the guys at the testing were like, you will have a crash.
And he did.
And he did. And now he doesn't have to have another crash. They always say that when you get your motorbike license, you have a crash. And they always talk about your crash that you will have.
Yeah, and that will teach you. And hopefully it's really minor.
Yeah.
And it will teach you a few things and then you're fine.
The whole way through this course they're always talking about when you have your crash and that kind of thing. And they say that you won't know how to control a motorbike until you've had a crash.
It's kind of scary.
Kind of scary.
But if it's a light crash, that's fine.
Exactly. And if I think my brother got away with it pretty easily because he had his crash when he was riding a moped.
Nice.
Yeah, just like he was turning a corner near Roma Street and it was wet and he went bloop. Just because you can't.
That's a pretty standard one.
You can't lean in on those things because the tires are like a toothpick.
Yeah, especially in the rain. That's like a pretty standard crash. I feel like most people will have, and hopefully no one's around to see it, and you just pick yourself up
and you just get on with your day.
Yeah,
that's it. And hopefully that's what that guy did because he wasn't too.
Oh no, he was laying on the road like.
Oh no.
I think he would have been in shock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe he was being dramatic.
Overly dramatic. I would have stopped and been like, come on, man, just get up.
Get up. What are you doing?
Get up. You're blocking the road.
I saw it. It wasn't even that bad. Get up. You're blocking traffic.
Fine.
People need to get home.
But hopefully he's okay. And hopefully, the bike wasn't too damaged. And
Have you ever been driving in a hailstorm?
No. That would be terrifying.
I once. It wasn't bad, but I remember I was driving in Mount Gravatt near the McDonald's out there. I was between where the McDonald's is and where the Coles entrance to the Coles car park is. And anyone listening who has no idea where Mount Gravatt is, that's where I was.
That's where I live.
Yeah, it sure is.
Yeah, kind of.
And then, so I was driving along and it was raining, and then all of a sudden, I was in the Jeep and I hear this big boom on top of my car, and I was in that road's 3 lanes, and I was in the middle lane. And there was a bus next to me on the left and a bunch of cars next to me on the right. And I hear this hail, and my initial reaction is just like, I need to get out of this hail. So I literally just like punched it, cut the butt off.
You cut the butter?
I cut the butter. I cut the bus off, just like straight up cut him off, and just I literally just snapped a left turn straight into the Coles car park underground.
Nice.
Yeah. And so I got maybe not even 30, maybe like 15 seconds of hail, and I was terrified.
Yeah, that would be terrifying. Those drives where I'm like driving home from the Gold Coast and I see the black clouds. That's the one thing I'm scared of. And people stop underneath the bridges and just wait. I'm like,
as you would.
I'm not going to pull over there because I can't see where I'm going. People will run into me.
Yeah, true that. And I think the people that pull over are the people who either don't know how to like deal with that situation or don't have insurance.
Yeah.
Like, oh, see ya.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I remember there was a really hectic hailstorm in like 2014.
Just before I moved down to Brisbane.
Just before you moved here, I was living in a share house with my brother and a few other people, and it started hailing, and then all the windows smashed in. That's
fun, and your real estate took forever to replace them.
Yeah, they did.
I remember that. You still had like cardboard on a window or something. When I moved down. Yeah. For like a month or something.
They were ridiculous. There was like these fire guard roller doors. That it was kind of weird because the building that I lived in was behind a Queenslander. Yeah. And it was like a block of 4 units built behind this Queenslander.
Yeah, it was strange. I remember that.
Weird kind of setup, but they had these roller doors on the outside of the building covering the windows that were close to the Queenslander. So if the Queenslander was burning down, these roller doors would be triggered and close. So the fire wouldn't break the windows and get into the apartment building, which is kind of smart. But we were like, oh shit, there's a hailstorm coming in and it's smashing all of the windows in the house. Let's grab the roller door and close it. So we managed to save 2 of the windows by getting the roller doors and closing them. And there were not a lot of resistance. They were just closing. We didn't save Jack's room though. We heard the window smash and we just shut the door and was like,
it's gone.
It's gone.
Whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens. And that was literally what it was like. It was kind of like we just looked at each other and we were just like, well, let's just shut the door and hope for the best. And then the real estate ended up having to replace all of our carpets, having to replace a couple of windows, and it took months and months and months. And we just had these roller door windows for a while. And then, to top it off, they got mad at us, and they were like, you need to pay to replace the roller doors because you broke the mechanism. And I was like, would you rather have broken windows or change a button on a roller door? Like,
that's so dumb.
What would you prefer?
What did they want you to do?
Let the windows smash.
Yeah, let everything damage. More carpet get damaged.
I didn't want... These were, like, hectic. These were, like, big old golf ball hailstorms,
that was
too.
a huge hailstorm. That one's, like... If you look up, like, Brisbane hailstorm, that's the one that comes up.
Yeah. That's the one. And, like, they were coming into our living room and we had, like, a little cat running around and we were in there, too. We didn't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
So we just put the roller door down.
Yeah, that's fair
what
enough.
Else are you
I think... You're in the right, and they're in the wrong.
And I think
we've finally sorted that out.
I think we've finally come to peace with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
You know those things that, like, happen in your life and you just can never let them go?
Yeah.
Even though we won that.
It's usually based around real estates.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah. Even though we won that situation and we didn't have to end up paying to get the roller doors fixed or the windows or the carpets, I still hang on to it.
I had to pay to get my shower drain unclogged because it clogged up, and I went in
pubes.
No, I went in. I dug my hand in.
Pubes.
And I pulled out concrete.
Pubes. Oh, not pubes.
I pulled out concrete and dirt and like chunks of just block and stuff like that.
What is your body creating?
Yeah,
you must be shitting concrete in the shower.
Yeah, Waffle stomping it down.
Waffle stomping that concrete shit.
This place was built horribly. Like the door frames.
This podcast?
Yeah.
Waffle stomping
concrete shit. These door frames, at the top of them, they had been painted over, but in orange texture, you could see it, and it said "fucked." So what I think happened was these door frames were like the shit door frames that the builders would have been like, "Fucked. Don't use this one. It's fucked."
Yeah.
And then they're like, paint over it. We'll use it in this cheap building over here. And then so I dug out concrete, and it happened in my roommate's bathroom as well. But theirs was shallower, so we could get our arm to the bend and get it all out.
Oh, gross.
But for me, it wasn't hair. That was when we just moved in, so it wasn't hair and stuff like that. It was.
Was it a brand new place?
Yeah, I think maybe one other person lived in our apartment.
It's a little bit gross.
Yeah, a little bit gross. But so it was just clogged up with just like building debris, but then I didn't get a proper photo of all of it. I got a photo of like some bits, and they're like, yeah, that's not good enough. It's probably your hair. It's like, we've only been here for like 2 months. Like,
oh my god,
how much hair do you think we like have?
Shave my pubes every day.
Don't put them in the bin. I just let them go.
Yeah, ball beard.
And they're super long. Yeah,
full beard.
Call back to
every day.
Asian man ball beard. It was like that.
It's like that, but every day.
No, but yeah, it was just ridiculous. And then they were like, and then I kept arguing. And I was like, it's bullshit.
It is.
I literally pulled out concrete out of your drains. And I was like, also, your door frames say they're fucked on them. So what's
that about?
What's that about? And then they're like, the owners agreed to pay half. So I still had to pay like $60 to get the plumber out.
At least it was only $60.
Yeah, but
still it's the principle, and you will never let that go.
I will never let that go. It was bullshit.
Maybe they wrote "fucked" on the door frame because they knew the drainage was fucked.
Maybe it was in both bathrooms. When I noticed it, I was like, oh, and then I went and checked the other bathroom, and it was also there. But it had been painted over, but not well enough. It was like one coat. You know, you're meant to do a few coats.
At least one coat. If it was just like scribble over it in a whiteboard marker, then rub it off. That's how you get rid of permanent marker.
I probably got that photo somewhere of just me like sending the email with like photos. I'm like, your door frame says fucked.
You should find that photo and we'll put it on our Instagram story.
If I find it,
If you find it at
it might be on
Very
my old
Average
phone,
Podcast.
but I'll have a look. Man,
Real
yeah.
estate.
So there's things you never let go.
Absolutely. Real estate's the fucking worst. They're like, oh man, I've really never had a good experience with real estate.
One great experience with real estate, and it was my first time.
Shut your mouth.
Ebony and I lived in this apartment. It was our first apartment together after I moved out of.
Was that the dungeon
thing?
Thing?
Yeah, it was a nice place. It was just a weird driveway. But this real estate guy, so nice. One time I locked the keys in. He came and just let me in, and because Ebony was away and I'm an idiot.
Yep.
And he was like, "Oh, normally this would be like a $50 call out fee, but this time I'll just do it. That's fine.
I'll hook you up."
Yeah. And then he was always like, you know how like real estate's they're there to represent you, but you know they're just representing the owner.
Oh yeah. Because they don't want to have the conversation with the owner that says, "Hey, I need you to pay this." Because then the owner will be like, "Don't make me pay anything. I'll find a new real estate." That's the whole reason why they're bitches.
Yeah, but this guy, he's like, to us when we moved in, he's like, I'm here to represent the owner, but I'm also here to represent you.
No, my heart.
And then he just like drilled in that point, and then anytime we could like message him, and like I could just text message him and be like, "Hey man, what's going on with this?" And he'll help out, or like we had a problem with the internet, like getting that sorted, and he would help. He would just like get the owner to like figure it out and stuff like that. And it was really good. And then when we were moving out, I was there. He was doing the last check with like after we did our own bond clean and stuff.
Your bond clean.
Bong clean, yeah. I had to clean up all those bongs.
All the bongs.
No, the bond clean. And he was like, "Okay, so I've got some gumption in my car. Just to get your bond back properly, you'll just need to clean that bit. I've got some gumption in my car and some rags, and I'll just help you clean this." And he helped me clean.
Get fucked.
Because Ebony was at work or something. We'd done stuff and we'd already done it all, and I was just there to like hand the keys in and like get that final check. And he's like, "Oh, I'll just help you clean these things." And then you'll get your bond back in full.
That's crazy.
That was our first experience, and it was the best experience, and it's just gone downhill since then. It went down, and then it went up a little bit. And like, oh yeah, it's okay. They're real estate, normal real estate, and it's okay now.
Yeah. What's kind of funny is if I put myself in the situation of a real estate agent, and I get to a house or an apartment, and I'm doing a bond clean check.
Yeah.
And there's like a couple of things, really minor details that wouldn't pass the bond clean. I have to either just like get a chucks and some spray and wipe it down, or fill out paperwork and deal with an angry client.
Yeah.
I'm wiping that shit down.
I'll wipe it down.
I'm wipe that shit down.
There's a random stray pube on the toilet.
I'll pick it up.
I'll just wipe that off. Blow it off.
Throw it out the window.
I mean, I swear some real estates don't really
Put it in my back pocket.
Keep it for later. Need to floss your teeth.
Oh, no.
But I feel like some real estates don't even check that much. Because when we moved into our current place, it was just like dust on this certain part, and one thing was dirty. The dryer didn't work and all this.
This place was a little bit grotty when I first came in, but I think it's just because it's a bit older. Yeah. What's actually really interesting is my last few apartments that I've lived in, I've gotten just like 1-bedroom units in newer developments, and they're all managed on site by the on site
manager.
They're
all managed on site by the on site manager.
On site real estate. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but they're not really like a traditional real estate because they only manage the building that you live in.
Yeah.
And they've all been super pleasant to deal with.
Yeah. I think it's very different. And
I think because a lot of, especially in Brisbane, all these new developments down in Newstead and West End and South Bank and stuff, they're all built, and then all the units are just sold to just investors, Chinese investors, overseas investors, and then their job, they don't even send the applications to the owners. They just like tick, 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 tick.
It's just a source of income for these people.
Yeah.
And it's like
they pay this company to look after
no one's a very small minority of the people that live there actually own the place.
Oh yeah.
Very small.
Very small.
So yeah, there's just an on-site manager that's dealing with all of it because none of the owners probably live in Australia.
Yeah, it's crazy. And not a lot of the owners live in Australia because the body corp fees for these are so high because the on-site managers actually do all this stuff that normal real estate traditionally wouldn't.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I've lived in all of these apartments and it's always been really, really good. I've always got my full bond back. One thing I have to do when I move out of an apartment, and I've moved a lot.
Yeah, too much.
This is my 11th apartment in 5 years.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Too much.
I'm a fucking idiot. But I'm in a 12-month lease now, so I'm stuck here,
Yeah,
and
it's
I
good.
love it. I like this
Good.
place.
It's good.
It's
12-month leases.
It's never really been my fault that I've moved. It's either, I wouldn't say fault, because fault's not the right word, but it's never really been like, I want to move or anything.
It's not like
that.
you're like,
something's happened.
It's not like I want to move every 6 months. That's what I want to do.
No one wants to do that. Like,
No.
I do enjoy living in different places, and
Changing it up every now and then is good.
Yeah, I have
when you
enjoyed
find
keeping
somewhere
it fresh.
that you like, it's good to stay for a
Good
little
to
bit.
stay for a little bit.
Yeah.
But the reasons I've moved is like when I first moved to Brisbane, I lived with a housemate in this like shitty
Horrible.
shack. I loved that place.
Yeah.
We used to. I never used to carry keys around with me
Yeah.
because it was just like a 2-bedroom shack. We paid no rent for it.
It was literally like a house that was split into 4 quarters, and
Yeah.
each quarter had like a little unit.
Yeah, it was 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, and a kitchen / dining room. The whole unit had 4 power points.
Yeah.
4 individual power
Yeah.
points. 1 in each room, 1 in the living room, and 1 for the fridge.
Mm.
So I had power boards coming off the fridge
Everything,
to power
yeah.
my kettle.
So safe.
I had power boards on power boards powering.
Yeah.
Actually, back then I didn't really have anything. I was like straight moving out of home, first year uni. Like I had no money, I had nothing, no things. So it was a simpler life. There was no closets. It was literally just boxes.
Yeah, I remember that place.
I had like a desk and a clothes rack and a bed, and that was pretty much all I owned. So, I mean, more fortunate than some people, but, you know, not where I am now, that's for sure.
No.
So, I moved out of that place because my housemate, I got home one day and she wasn't there anymore and all of her shit was gone. And
Guess I'm paying full rent now.
yeah, it was really shit because I was 18, she was 17, so she couldn't sign the lease. So I was the sole person on the lease, which looked really good for me because I was...
You had rental history,
18,
paying rent by yourself.
Paying rent by myself, although I had to break that lease.
Yeah.
But
Also not
I paid out the entire lease myself.
Oh.
Because I had to break the lease because
Yeah.
I kind of couldn't afford it, but I should have just stayed there and paid the rent because I ended up paying double rent for a bit because I moved in with my brother.
Yeah.
But the timing was just a little bit dodgy. But then I moved in with my brother, and then I moved out because they were moving out. They were all going to do their own separate thing. It was a share house, and then I moved into a place in south side of Brisbane, and I moved out of there because it was just way too far away from work.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was too expensive to live out there or something like that, and I wasn't working at the time or something like that. So I moved into the valley, and then moved out of there because my housemate couldn't afford the rent, and then I moved into a 1-bedroom, like a studio apartment, and I hated living there. Great view.
This was the
Terrible
worst place
apartment.
you've lived in.
The worst.
It's I would have been so depressed and I would have
It was
jumped.
so bad. I was living on the 8th floor of an 8-story building in Kangaroo Point with city views. Sounds amazing.
No.
It was a
That's the worst studio apartment I've ever seen.
It was a shoebox. Everything leaked. The hot water didn't work.
You didn't have a stove.
I didn't have a stove. I didn't have an oven.
Yeah.
My kitchen was a bench with a sink.
Yeah.
I had an electric fry pan. It smelt like old curries.
You just like
It
all
was
you
just-
could do is just sit on your bed and
and
watch
sleep
TV and play
and
Xbox and masturbate.
That's literally all I
literally
did
it.
for 6 months. And I hated every second of it. And it was kind of fortunate because when I was living there, I started earning a bit more money. I got some promotions and I was doing really well. So I moved out of there into a 1-bedroom unit in Newstead, which was brand new.
Yeah, it was much nicer.
It was my own place. I wasn't using someone else's furniture. I filled it out with my own shit, and it was really, really good. And I was happier than I've ever been before when I moved into there. And then
Got a job.
I got a job on the fucking Gold Coast.
So you moved down.
So I moved to the Gold Coast, which was awesome.
See, what I did is get the job on the Gold Coast and not move to the Gold
Yeah,
Coast.
but now you spend 4 hours a day in the car. And I just couldn't do that. I
dude.
did that for a little bit. Actually, there was a place that I missed. I moved because a really good friend of mine really wanted to move in with me. And he was like, let's get a place together.
Oh, yeah. I remember that place.
Save some rent. And I was like, sweet, let's move it. We moved to Hamilton. My brother was living there.
Oh, yeah.
And that was really, really good. Loved it. We were living in this hotel that had apartments for rent. And it was awesome. It was a bit small, but it was awesome. Really got along really, really well with my housemate. Shout out to Dan Shaman. Had an awesome view. It was in an awesome location. But then I got the job on the Gold Coast and I had to move to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
I lasted 3 months on the Gold Coast before I quit my job.
You didn't have any like friends.
Oh, it sucked.
You didn't know anyone.
It sucked.
Other than like people from work, you didn't really know anyone. Like
yeah, to hang out with all my friends, I needed to drive back to Brisbane, and that was
the
just
band.
too much. Band practice, I needed to drive back to Brisbane.
Yeah.
But what was worse is I moved into the worst place on the Gold Coast because I was still 35 minutes away from work.
Yeah, you should have like.
I needed to live next to the office or back in Brisbane.
Yeah, next to the office. Like, I've got some like people at work who have literally recently moved to next to the office and like really nice apartments. Like,
yeah,
how easy is that? Walk to work every day.
Yeah, would have been awesome, but I just made a shit decision. So I lasted 3 months and then I quit my job, broke my lease, found a new person to take over my lease, found an apartment back in Brisbane, similar to that first 1-bedroom apartment I moved into, found a new job, and moved back to Brisbane all in 3 days.
Yeah.
And it was like
3 days.
It was the most hectic 3 days of my life, but I just had one of those like epiphany moments where I was like, I hate everything. I just need to change everything in my life, uproot myself, and just change it.
Yeah.
And, you know, just like single guy living by myself, I could do that.
Yeah.
So I just literally
that's
just
true.
changed everything. And it was the best decision I've ever made.
Yeah.
And then moved back to Brisbane and lived in a 1-bedroom place again, which was pretty cool. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to save a bit of money, move in with a housemate again.
Yeah.
And then I lived with a housemate for another 6 months, and then she couldn't afford the rent, so we had to move out.
Yeah, and now you got this place.
I live in this wonderful apartment in
And
the
it's
valley.
nice. It's different.
I really like it.
It's like
It's not what I usually
your,
get.
your other apartments that are like the newer apartment buildings. They don't have character.
They're all just plain.
They're exactly. They're plain. You could tell no one's really lived in them. They're just plain. They're all the same.
White walls,
copy paste,
white tiles, white kitchen.
This place has got a bit more character, and it's good location.
It's got a green wall,
It does have a green wall,
which is
and it's got
disgusting.
these doors behind me.
Yeah, these doors are kind of cool.
They're kind of weird.
And
It's interesting.
behind me here, I came in and set up the set today, and there's a big old wet patch of carpet.
So
and
it's a great place.
it's been raining and it's been leaking all over my apartment.
Oh,
so
man.
that's awesome. So yeah, need to kind of fix that out. Need to talk to a real estate.
real estate.
Actually, my real estate here is really nice.
Yeah, well, that's good.
Really nice. The property manager is this guy, and he's like super lovely, and he like it's got like this weird light system where there's no light switches; they're all light buttons. Off what do you call it? C-bus or something like that.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Crazy wires all through the house. So when you press a button, it lights up another button.
Yeah.
I had no idea how to use it or set up my internet or anything. So the guy just came out and he's like, "Hey man, how's it going?" And like showed me around.
Good to
He
hear.
had no idea what he was doing, but we figured it out
Yeah, well,
together.
he's there to help. Yeah, that's
And it was
great.
really good. It was a real wholesome experience. But yeah, living here. I'm liking it. I've got a second bedroom where we can set up this set and kind of keep it a little bit more permanently.
This room would not fit a double bed in there.
Oh,
in
no.
here.
This is an office, not a second bedroom.
Someone could live in here, maybe.
Oh,
Just
the
single bed, single king bed.
There's a wardrobe, but
Yeah, it's like this big.
it's a foot wide.
Yeah, a foot.
Maybe a foot and a half wide. And what's in there is all the electrical stuff. So you can't even put anything in there. What just happened to my voice?
Yeah.
So, on Wednesday, I went and saw Michael Bublé live, and it was the most amazing experience of my life.
Who'd you go with? Like your
Me-
girlfriend, or
Me and my brother.
did you like hold each other?
Oh, yeah.
Does he play Christmas music when it's not Christmas?
No, he hates playing Christmas music,
I
and
know.
you would know that.
I do know that.
You would
He
know
hates
that
it.
Yeah.
He hates that his album. He makes a fuck ton of money from it every
Fuckload
year.
of money every year.
But he also hates that he's known just as the Christmas dude.
So if you've been listening to the podcast, you'd know that one of my 3 men that I would turn gay for is Michael Bublé.
Yes.
And it was one of the most magical nights of my life.
Yeah. What is he? What are his songs?
What are his songs?
What songs does he do?
And I'm feeling
Yeah, other than that
good.
one.
Boom,
That's a classic. What other songs does the Boobs?
What's that song called? Sway, I think it's
I
called.
remember Sway.
Yeah. And then what's that one from
Doesn't he?
James Bond?
Does he do a cover of Moon Dance by Van Morrison?
I'm not sure. I don't really know the names of his songs, or like I didn't know half the songs that he was singing, to be honest. But
It's just Bublé.
it was beautiful. There was like It was real weird. So I bought my brother the tickets for his birthday because me and him love boobs.
Yeah, I do love boobs.
And we also love Michael Bublé.
Yeah.
So went and bought him tickets for his birthday in August last year, and it was for today. They sold out super quickly. At the entertainment centre, 13,500 people. Oh my god, the caliber of people that went to this event. Can you imagine?
Like a full range of different...
No. There was one type of people.
Middle-aged woman.
And then me and my
her
brother.
name was Karen.
There was Karens.
There was just Karens.
There was so many.
There was Karens, there was Sharons, and there were...
Charons. And Clarens.
Yes.
There was so many fucking Karens at this event. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. And they all wanted to see the manager.
They all wanted to see the manager. I'm not even kidding.
I would hate to be the manager at the entertainment centre for a Bublé show.
God. I'm not even fucking with you. At one point, so it was raining, right?
Yes.
And the entertainment centre has a humongous car park. Like, it's a ginormous car park. Ample parking for any event that 15,000 people are going to.
Yeah.
Which is really impressive. And they've got a lot of parking guides that show you where to park and stuff. The car parks were a mess just because of all the Karens. But when we got inside, it was raining. So me and my brother were standing outside under the bar, obviously, because we were having some drinks.
Yeah, it's boobs. You gotta have some drinks with the boobs.
We were drinking Pim's Cup.
Oh,
because we were drinking Pim's, watching the boobs, and it was a beautiful night. I'm not even fucking with you, because there were so many mosquitoes. This Karen, she had the haircut, like the like tapered from the base of her neck to the top of her head that make her head look like some shit out of Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
One of those crazy skulls. She was complaining to the one of the security guards or one of the like on-site liaisons about the mosquitoes.
Because they can do a lot about that.
She was like, "This is ridiculous. There should be something to control these mosquitoes. I'm getting eaten alive out here." And I was like, Wow.
Imagine just being that person.
I just couldn't even comprehend it. Okay, what was even worse is... So, I didn't really know what to expect when I went to this. When I bought the tickets, I did not know what to expect. I expected it to be... Well, even though I didn't know what to expect, here's what I expected it to be. Like...
You got there.
Boobs. Singing up on stage. Singing some sexy songs, being a sexy man.
As he does.
Being all romantic and shit, and just singing some songs and then going home. Didn't know really what else to expect besides that.
He's a
cheeky fucker.
He's a funny dude. He's very cheeky.
Fucker.
Yeah, I knew that.
He said bitch twice.
Yeah. Have you ever seen interviews with him?
No.
He's not like a...
Apparently he got in a lot of trouble years ago.
Probably.
For being too much of a little cheeky bitch. And then... something happened. I think his son got cancer or something horrible.
Yeah.
And he like turned around.
Yeah. But he's still like, he swears on stage. It
was fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
I loved it.
He's a funny dude.
So funny.
If you watch any interview of him, he's a funny guy.
So he was up on stage and he was like making jokes about like real old people jokes.
Yeah.
Because obviously his crowd is all Karens. It was like making jokes about how husbands are always scared of their wives and how he's scared of his wife and all that kind of like old people
relatable
jokes. Relatable. And like, being married for 15 years. 15 years, good on you. Like old people jokes. But then he was like, he said something and I lost my shit. He was like, "I don't want to tell you to dance because I'm not going to be one of those guys up here on stage forcing you to dance, because if I was at a show and the person that I paid to entertain me was telling me to dance,
be entertained,
he said, I would tell them to get fucked." And I was like, Michael Bublé! And then everyone was like, "Oh, Michael Bublé said fuck."
And then it was just you in the audience going...
Me and my brother just like...
Fucking knee slapper. So good to do.
And then he's like, "And you know what? If the person next to you is like, sit down, you're annoying me, like don't dance, tell that bitch to shut up."
Ooh. So my only question is, did you dance?
No.
You didn't dance?
Dude, okay.
How do you go to Buble and not dance, and not just dance up with some Karens and.
I wanted to dance up with some Karens, but we were. I bought the cheapest tickets, and they were still $500. But we were right up the back at the top seated. What's even more
was
wild,
everyone seated, or does he have like a mosh pit?
Okay, this was weird as. I did not expect this. Another thing I didn't expect. The whole theatre, or the whole entertainment centre was seated. They had this giant runway from the stage. You've been in the entertainment centre.
Yeah.
The stage had this it was kind of weird. So there's a normal stage. In front of the stage, so on the stage was the orchestra in like tiered seatings in this ginormous set. And when he first started, he like appeared on this hydraulic piston that came out of the middle of the stage. It was fucking beautiful. Oh my god, Michael Bublé. And then he like walked down the stairs, being like, ba-na, 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 feeling good.
Did he open with that?
Oh yeah, he
blew his load straight away.
Blew his load straight away, and he was like doing that like sexy like cross the leg walk down the stairs kind of action.
Oh,
you know what I mean? While he was like, and it was wonderful. And then in front of the stage there was the VIP package. Ooh. And there was like 2 miniature mosh pits that could fit like 15 people in each.
I reckon the VIK. The very important Karens.
And there was like a little bit of a stage around them, like runway stage. Then there was this big runway. That sounded. there was this big runway straight from the stage into the middle of the entertainment center, and it probably was like half the distance of the entertainment center, and then a big circle at the end of it. So he was like strutting down the stage, doing some things, doing some twirls, doing some... That man can snap. Like, unlike anything I've ever heard before. His snap...
Is he snapping into the microphone?
No, he was singing like this with his microphone up to his mouth, and his snap was here, and it sounded like his snap was inside the microphone.
Sure it's on a backing track?
Oh no, he had a powerful snap. And he was like strutting down the stage, got to the end of it, doing some things, but... When he first started strutting down the stage, all of the people seated stood up and rushed the stage. And they were all just like trying to climb onto it and touch him and grab him.
It's like World War Z, but with Karens.
It was like a zombie thing, but they were all Karens.
Man.
It was wild. And all of the high school chairs that they put out on the entertainment center just got knocked over, thrown away. All
and
the Karens
turned into a mosh pit.
It was a mosh pit.
Yeah.
And like there was this circle stage, and it was just surrounded by Karens. And there was people like screaming, trying to grab him, be like, Michael Bublé, I love you. And I was like, if I was down there, I would have been
doing that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but since you're so far like removed, you're like, what idiots?
Yeah, idiots. I was filming on my
uncultured,
my ultra wide angle iPhone from the back.
Weird flex, but okay.
You know what actually really surprised me was another thing that I didn't expect was because I was at the back watching the entertainment center, I could see everyone from behind, and in the entire entertainment center of 15,000 sold out seats, I think it was like 13,500, whatever. I saw maybe 10, 15 phones.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blew my mind. Different generation.
All the Karens, they don't even know how to operate their wallet leather phone cases.
Yeah, wallet leather ones. They have to cover the screen.
And with a little clip that pops open. What's even funnier is when Boobs was on stage, he was like grabbing people's phones and like taking selfies. Every single phone he grabbed, opened up the phone wallet, took a selfie, closed the phone wallet, and gave it back.
You know what would have been the ultimate play? Taking the phone, opening it up, taking a selfie, and then just passing it to some other person.
Or just putting it in his pocket.
Put it in his pocket. That's one of my favourite things to do. If someone ever passes you a phone to look at something, you look at it, and instead of leaning back over to give it to them, you just put it to your side on the other side of you, and just see what their reaction is.
And pretend it never happened. And they're just always like,
what are you doing? Every time.
My phone.
They never know how to react. It's not like, what are you doing? It's just like, it's so weird. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do.
How sacred have like smartphones become?
Yeah.
I couldn't get through a day without it. I don't think I could get through an hour without my phone.
I check it fairly often.
my whole life is on my phone.
Mm.
Like if I can't look at my calendar on my phone, I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm not like that.
I
don't use a
schedule
calendar.
everything.
I just got a good memory.
I need like my emails. I need to be able to respond to things.
Yeah.
For work and for personal life.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I just need to have my phone. And I feel like it's such a millennial saying this, but I don't think I could live without it.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with that because our lives are built around needing it now.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in the day, they weren't built around needing that.
What was your first ever phone?
Okay, so I don't know if I can count this, but it was a Nokia that my mum gave me. And I pretty much got it to text my girlfriend in grade 6 and to play Snake 2.
Dude.
And it was mainly to play Snake 2.
Same.
And it was one of those blue Nokias, like the black and white, but like the blue.
We had the same phone for the same reason, except I didn't have a girlfriend because I was lonely. I had the grey and black or the grey and dark grey Nokia.
Yeah, so my
Snake.
dad had that one, I think.
And it had this sticker on the back of it.
Mm.
I think it was like a Simpsons sticker or something. And when it vibrated, it lit up.
Ooh.
It was the coolest thing ever. But it never vibrated because it didn't have a SIM card in there because all I used it for was Snake. And it was my granddad's phone.
Yeah, how good is that?
So
but then my first official phone, probably in grade 7, when that's when my sister got her first phone as well.
Yep.
She had a Motorola Razr. Hello, Moto. How good's that?
Hello, Moto. Boom.
Have you seen the new Razr?
Oh, it's like a Razor, but the whole thing's a screen.
How does it fold?
So cool.
But what I had, which is also just as groundbreaking, but severely underrated.
Oh my god, did you have a web slider?
No, that was grade 8, but I didn't have one. But they weren't out yet in grade 7. I had an LG flip phone that had a little screen on the outside that told you the time and whether or not you had a message, and had some buttons on the outside too.
Oh, you had buttons on the outside?
And you opened it, and your camera, instead of having a front and back camera, because they didn't have them at the time, I had a swivel camera.
Dude, I had one of those phones at one point.
So,
oh my god!
So the front camera and the back camera were the same quality.
And you just
that was horrible to today's standards.
Yeah.
But like if
like a 240p.
if you're thinking about now, like even your front facing camera is not as good as your proper camera.
Yeah, imagine if you could.
But it was the same camera. Yeah, just thumbed it. And I just fidget with things. That's just how I am. So like I would just always play with it. Just fidget it back and forth.
Thumbing the shit out of it. That's crazy.
And then I think I had like a Sony Ericsson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was good. I could play some cool music on it.
Did it have infrared?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Hell yeah.
And then from there, I think after that, that's when I got my first smartphone.
Damn.
It wasn't an iPhone. It was an Android phone. It was a Motorola.
Mm.
And it was like one of the first phones that had like a quad core processor in it.
Damn.
Yeah, and I was like,
fuck.
Yeah, well, I went to get an iPhone. The guy's like, you should probably get this instead. It's cheaper.
iPhones are shit.
It's cheaper and way faster. So I got that and it was sick. And then I got iPhones and I've had iPhones ever since.
I had a very similar experience. I had my Nokia.
Yeah.
And then I remember, because we lived in Cairns.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no, I got my Nokia when I lived in Tassie.
Yeah, true.
And I think I was on a holiday to Cairns.
Yeah, ooh, just testing the waters.
On holiday to Cairns, because my grandparents lived up there.
Yeah.
Had some family. I think I went to the DFO in Cairns.
I don't know if the DFO was out. It was the thing then.
No, it was definitely the DFO
It's
in
not like
Cairns.
Mount Sheridan or something.
No, definitely the DFO in Cairns, because I remember the outside.
I can't remember when that became a thing.
Outside. Is the DFO in Cairns outside?
Some of it.
I think, yeah.
No.
What am I thinking about then?
I don't know. Outside.
Maybe it was Harbour Town. It was Harbour Town.
Oh, you were on a holiday to the Gold Coast.
I was on a holiday to Gold Coast. Actually, no. I remember. Oh my god, just flashback.
How good's Harbour Town though?
Flashback. So it was when I moved from Tassie to Cairns. We drove.
Ah, you were on your way to Cairns.
And we stopped off
on the Gold Coast.
On the Gold Coast for Christmas. We stayed in a hotel. Do it. We stopped off in a hotel for 3 days and we did all like the worlds.
Yeah.
But we went to Harbour Town as well. And I remember I bought, I think it was an LG, but it was, and so many people had this as their first phone, but it was a really, really tiny mini flip phone, silver with a little blue face and a little silver like diamond on the front that lit up blue. And there was also a pink version. Okay. And it had like the little antenna.
Ooh.
And it was the tiniest little flip phone. It would have been like 5 centimeters. You flip it open,
it's like a phone for ants.
And then I remember I upgraded that phone to another. I think it might have also been no, it was a Nokia flip phone. And I remember everyone had them. There was a black one, a silver one, and a pink one. And everyone had them. And they were bigger, slightly bigger flip phones, and they had better games on them.
Yeah.
And I remember by the end of it...
bounce? Do you remember there was a game where you played as a red ball and you just bounced? Great game.
Oh, I think I know what you're talking
It's
about.
Absolute classic.
But anyway,
Should have been there.
this phone, it had like the front and then the battery and then the case and then the top. And they were all removable pieces of plastic. And I remember my phone ended up just being a Frankenstein of some chick's pink back and then someone else's silver top. And we just like traded phone parts.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
You
then...
should probably get yourself checked.
Probably. And then from there, I think I traded my phone and my MP3 player.
And they took it with all those weird Frankenstein bits?
Yeah. I traded my phone and my MP3 player with a friend of mine.
They not traded it in.
No, I traded with a friend of mine. My phone and my MP3 player for a mate's Sony Ericsson, and it had infrared.
Yeah.
And it had, I think the reason I did it is because the Sony Ericsson logo was orange and like metal, and it looked really cool.
Yeah, mine was like it was a flip phone, and it had this weird like design on the front, and then some of the screen lit up, and it would tell you if it had a message, and or like there'd be like a green light on it, and if you had a message, it would like flash green
or something. So this was my first this was my first real phone that wasn't a flip phone. And it had the 9-pad number thing on it.
Yeah.
But it was a Sony Ericsson. And it had like this little red glass bit on the side.
Yeah.
That was infrared. And I remember...
Nice.
And it had Bluetooth. This was my first Bluetooth phone.
Ooh.
So I used to Bluetooth... do you remember sending like shit photos over Bluetooth to people?
Yeah.
Like
all the time.
Little sparkly bear GIFs.
Yeah, I was
and
never
like,
that lame.
Oh man, that was like a huge epidemic at my school.
It was a real problem.
It was a Tassie thing. That's probably why.
Not much else to do.
Send like dumb photos and like Crazy Frog MP3s to each other and stuff.
And now what you do these days is send random airdrops of memes to people.
Yeah, in public places.
Someone did that to me at the Frank Carter concert I went to.
It was a good meme.
It was a good meme.
Hell yeah.
And I was like, thanks, stranger.
Fuck yeah.
I was scared. Like it could have been a dick pic, but it was a meme, so it's all good.
It's disappointing.
Yeah.
But then I got my first ever smartphone.
Mm.
And it was, wait for it, a Hummer phone.
Okay, so you weren't a straight iPhone person either.
No, I had a couple of Androids. So I had this phone made by Hummer, the car brand.
Yeah, you're like, this is sick.
And it was the Hummer H3, which was the name of the new Hummer. And
nice.
I actually didn't know anything about Hummer, and I still don't know anything about Hummer. I don't even know if they sell them in Australia.
Can you Hummers? I haven't heard.
I know stretch Hummers.
You get stretch Hummers. I knew the guy that owned a bunch in Cairns.
Yeah.
The stretch Hummer.
But I had a phone that was a Hummer, and it was a touchscreen smartphone, but it had a button and a dial, and the dial was the inside of the center hubcap of the wheels from the Hummer. I don't know. It was the shittest phone ever.
Ridiculous.
It was cheapest phone ever, but it was a gift from my dad. I think he went overseas and came back and brought them back for me and my brother or something. That was how I got my first Game Boy as well. He came back from Japan and gave us both Game Boys. It was sick.
Game Boys.
And then, I got a Samsung Galaxy 1 or something. Probably even before it was called a Galaxy. So Samsung's first ever phone. And then I think from there I got my first iPhone, which was an iPhone 4S.
Yeah, I think I started on the 4S.
Yeah. And then I had pretty much every iPhone generation.
What was it? 5?
I think I got the 4S.
No, I got 5, I think.
And then I got the 6S. And then I got the 8. And then I got the 10.
Ooh. I'm about to get the 11 from the 8 Plus.
And now I've got the 11 Pro.
Ooh.
Yeah, with the ultra wide.
Ultra wide.
Yeah.
Buble.
Yeah, Buble.
That's where we came from. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah. But it's honestly, I think we're at the point where phones aren't really going to make too many more giant leaps.
Nah, man.
Like,
they're going to be some crazy holographic shit soon.
Like
Red's already done it.
We had our first phones, which were the Nokia Snake Brick phones.
Yeah.
And then we had smartphones.
Yeah.
With touch screens.
Yeah.
And Bluetooth.
And
Wi-Fi.
And AirDrop if you've got an Apple.
And then we went to smartphones that have internet browsers that are desktop class.
Yeah.
Like, those are some giant leaps in forward.
But did you even think of a smartphone? Did you even, like, think about a smartphone before a smartphone was made?
No.
So who knows what's next?
Who knows what's next? But then, in saying that, from the iPhone 4S to the iPhone today, not really a huge amount of difference.
Yeah, but they're all upgrades on the same thing. You just got to wait for that next thing.
Yeah, but the 4S came out, what, almost 10 years ago?
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
About 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Maybe 8 to 10 years ago.
They've got ultra-wide cameras now.
Yeah, but a normal camera and an ultra-wide camera isn't as much of a jump from a 5-pixel snake screen to a smartphone.
You know what they need to do? Which will blow everybody out of the water?
Folding phones.
No.
Do you reckon that'll take off?
I don't know, it's just a flip phone.
Like, because there's a couple of folding
Yeah.
phones with the screens that fold
Maybe.
now. Do you reckon that'll take off?
Keep them safe. But smartphones,
Yeah.
but you can play the original 2 Snake games.
Ooh.
Which you probably can already do, but...
Game changer.
Game changer.
Okay.
And the best thing about Nokia's back in the day was you could make your own ringtone based off the button.
Yeah,
and then it was like an 8-bit sound.
Yeah, it was like boop, beep, boop.
Yeah.
Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, and best thing in the world.
Yeah.
I remember making, like, my dad's ringtone forever was Smoke on the Water.
Bum,
Dun,
bum,
dun,
bum,
dun,
bum,
dun,
bum,
dun, dun. It was great.
And then we got Hello Motto.
Yeah, that's a classic.
I wish we could still get that and make it a phone ringtone. You probably
can. On the new Motorola Razr, I'm 100% sure it's going to be there.
You should get one.
Right.
What would make you get out of the iPhone game?
I just like the iPhone UI too much.
Same.
They've got me hooked.
The iPhone UI and the ecosystem of Apple products that I bought into.
Ecosystems.
I can't get out of it now.
It's been a bloody buzzword recently.
Okay, so what I think would be the next giant leap forward in phones would be if it replaces everything else in your pockets.
Keys.
So we're
working towards that.
I carry a phone, my wallet, and my keys. And phones are almost taken over my wallet. I literally carry 3 cards with me now.
Yeah.
And that's only as a backup because I'm crazy and I just don't think Apple Pay is always going to work.
Which it doesn't always. And technically you're not allowed to use it in your car anymore.
What do you mean?
The new phone laws can't use Apple Pay in a drive-thru.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, phones are taking over wallets. So I feel like the next thing is everyone's going to have smart locks on their homes.
Yeah.
And phones will be able to unlock
Soon
them.
places will be built with smart locks.
Yeah. So the next step is phones taking over everything in your pockets. Maybe the next phone will have a knife in it.
Just a knife built into it.
Yeah. So
for protection.
Really kind of weird, but I've started, not all the time, not when I like...
Did we talk about this
go
in another
out,
episode?
But I've started carrying around a knife.
Yeah. And then it's just taking up too much space. How much better would it be if that was in your phone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine carrying a phone that's also your wallet, that's also your keys, that's also your knife.
A Swiss Army knife.
Amazing.
It has got like corkscrew on it and a bottle opener.
Mind
They should
blowing.
build a bottle opener on the top of a phone.
I mean, they do phone cases like that, but that's
Yeah, but that's lame.
Would you ever carry your iPhone without a case?
I am doing that currently.
Yeah, but you had a case on that forever.
Yeah, but
And you've also got an older iPhone now.
It's an 8. It doesn't say it on the back anymore.
Ancient.
It's an 8 plus.
Ancient.
8S plus? Is that a thing? It's that.
So many years ago.
I'm about to get a new one, but no, for the last like 3 months, just rocking this with no case.
How good does it feel?
It's so slippery, and I don't recommend it because if you're sitting on the couch, all of a sudden your phone will just be on the floor.
But it feels so good.
You're just lying there, and you're just sitting on the couch, and all of a sudden you just hear... and your phone's face down on the floor.
And your face
I was like,
just goes
I
cold.
did not even move, and my phone is just slipping everywhere.
Oh, man.
It's crazy.
I don't think any advancements in hardness of glass will make me not put a case on my phone. Because my thing is, my phone is on a plan with Optus where every year they give me a new phone and I just keep paying the same amount.
Yeah.
I pay the same whatever plan it is. I get all the bullshit data and whatever, and I never go through any of it, so it's fine. But every year I get a new phone.
Yeah.
And I've got the 11 Pro, and that's apparently got hectic, stupid, crazy, tough glass that can't break. And
I'm still scared.
If I break the glass on the phone, I need to replace it, and it's $1,000 for the new phone.
Still have a case.
And I need to bring the phone back in good enough condition for them to give me the new phone.
one. Yeah.
So I've been really looking after them and putting them in like Apple leather cases, which by far the best cases that exist are the Apple leather cases. I've had an Apple leather case on my phone for the past 3 years, and I've dropped it so many times, and it's never cracked.
I've never cracked a iPhone screen. I've never cracked a screen.
But I'm clumsy.
I've never had an Apple leather case.
I'm clumsy and retarded
No, but
when it comes
I tell you
to
what
holding
cases
phones.
are the best ones. They're like the silicone ones that have that lip.
Yeah,
When
that's
you-
what the leather case. They've
But
got
when
the
you
lip.
drop your phone, the screen never hits the ground. Unless
hits
it's
the
like
ground.
a rock that's like pointing up.
Yeah, true.
So that's
Maybe-
like the big thing. People are like,
It's
oh,
the
I've got a
lip.
case. And it's like, it's not even protecting your screen.
No. So I
I think
think
that lip.
the Apple leather cases have that lip.
Yeah,
the
good.
silicone cases have that lip. So
Yeah.
any case with a lip will protect your phone enough, I reckon.
I highly recommend using a lip.
But I don't have a screen protector on my phone.
Either do
right?
I.
And Apple has been boasting about how incredibly tough and rigid this glass is.
Yeah.
But there's scratches on the screen.
Yeah. Well,
Like, not
But
deep scratches.
they wouldn't give you a guarantee though. They're like, look how
tough our glass
look how
is.
tough our glass is, but there's no like guarantee that it won't break.
Yeah.
Just so you
And-
don't. If it does break, they're like, oh well, we didn't guarantee that it wouldn't.
And in my front right pocket, I keep my phone and that's it.
Yeah.
So it's only
What's
ever
it scratching?
touching the little metal bits on my jeans, maybe.
Yeah.
When I put it face down on a table, I never
Maybe.
put my phone face down.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. So
You're not
the only
trying
thing
to
it would be
hide
touching is nothing.
Yeah.
I don't even know how it
maybe
gets
it just
scratches
does
on
it
the screen.
itself.
Maybe
Yeah.
Apple has updated the software
Yeah.
on my brand
It's
new
like
iPhone 11 Pro.
people
and it scratched the
people
screen.
were catching on to the phone slowing down after each update.
Yeah, didn't Apple get sued for it?
I don't know.
I'm pretty
Did
sure
they?
Apple got
Well,
a huge
I think
fine.
the next thing is with the updates.
'Cause they got
they're
caught out.
scratching themselves.
They must be. Maybe they're putting like a slight scratch in the display.
It's
on the
not even
software.
a real
It's not even a real scratch.
It's just all in your mind, bro.
So when you turn your phone off, it's technically still on, and they display the scratch.
That's why your battery dies quicker.
Conspiracy
Uncovered.
uncovered.
Yeah.
And that is what we're going to leave you with until next week.
We'll see you next week.
See you next week. Not really.
But you can find us on Very Average Podcast. Just Very Average
just
Podcast.
Very Average Podcast.
On Instagram and Facebook.
And do we have Twitter yet?
Nah, I'll make a Twitter.
Make
so
a
we
Twitter
can make
before
some
this
funny
episode
tweets.
comes out, so no one makes a Twitter and steals our username.
Okay, so Very Average Podcast on the Twitters.
On the Twitters, yeah. And if
that's not too long. That might be too long.
Very Average Podcast,
Yeah.
VAP, TVAP.
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 And then, you can send us an email, because email's a thing.
Yeah, should probably check them just in case.
Still not on Apple Music, because they're a bunch of fucking C words.
6 weeks in, no
6
Apple
works.
Music. 6 weeks
6
in,
weeks in.
no Apple Podcast yet.
I'm boycotting.
So thanks, Spotify.
I don't even want Apple Podcasts
Thank
anymore.
you, Spotify.
Coming through again.
Coming
like the
through
champ
again.
they are.
All the time.
Bloody Champax.
Beautiful. Love
Champax Rubax. Champion Rubies.
All right. So we'll see you next week then.
Yeah, that's going to be it. Make sure you subscribe to us on all the things, like us on all the things, and ring the bells on all the things, and we will see you in the next one.
Cool. All right. See ya.
See ya.
Peace.